Here from Los Angeles, from the SiriusXM garage. As you can hear, we have a fantastic studio audience here, and they have all gathered to listen to Megadeth both perform live for us and also answer some questions. The band's got a brand new record called The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead that is out this Friday. And we're going to talk to the guys and let some of the audience that has joined us here in the studio also ask some questions, which I have on cards and that I will read to them. But let me introduce the guys to get us started. And, well, I'll start with from my left right around, returning to Megadeth on bass guitar, Mr. James Lomenzo. Good to see you, James.
Eddie, good to see you, my friend.
The man himself right next to James in the center, Mr. Dave Mustaine. Good to see you, Dave. Guitarist Kiko Loriero. Kiko, good to see you. And on the end, holding down the drums, Dirk Verburen. What's up, Dirk? So, Dave, congratulations on the record. It sounds incredible. I've had a chance to listen to it, and it's vicious, man. It is vicious. You know, I was thinking about this. A lot of bands, especially metal bands, as they get older, tend to, I don't know, dial it back a little bit, maybe go for the commercial ring a little bit more. You went all out on this record, man. It's an amazing record. Can you talk a little bit about your approach when you started writing this record and making this record, and if that was something that was calculated or it's just the way it came out?
Sure. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for your questions in advance. I appreciate you saying it's vicious, because while we were doing this, there was a lot of emotional lightning going through the studio, through the performers, and you know, we had issues with me getting and beating cancer, and then the lineup stuff, and then the pandemic, and all of the stuff happening with the world basically shutting down. Every time we would have something that we needed to get shipped to us, you know, some solid state issue, something that had any kind of a chip or a circuitry board, it was not coming. You know, it's sitting out in the fucking Long Beach port forever, you know. So it took us a long time to make this record, and I think part of that was the inspiration. The angst I had for, like, come on, man, let these guys open the port up, let the friggin' boats come in, get this going. You know, on the outside looking in, I'm no genius, but I could see the solution to this is pretty easy. Let them in, right? And then then we're starting to get back to normal, but the money that they make is such an exorbitant amount of money keeping those guys parked off of the coastline, and you know, it's just more stuff, more big money, more of Big Brother, more of all the stuff that makes us, you know, struggle so hard. And I like to document that struggle in the record. There's a lot of stuff like my weird, twisted way of giving advice, and there's only a couple of songs in there that were not real experiences.
What are the origins of coming off of Dystopia, the material on this record? When did you first start thinking about making this record? How many years back does it go?
Well, you know, I met Kiko in 2016. Was it 2016, 2015? 2015.
15.
Yeah, I guess it's longer than it's been. Just kidding.
Kiko is smiling for those of Radio Land.
Yeah, I'm smiling too. So, you know, a lot of the riffs that we did on Dystopia, if they weren't the right riff for a song at the time, it either went away forever or it was archived. And I have a bunch of drives at my house that have guitar riffs from all the way back in the very beginning. And you know, some of it is stuff that was recorded on micro cassettes. Some of it was me calling up my phone at night next to my bed and going, my wife wakes up and she sees me, and it's just like the fucking insurance commercial. Who's Gary? Is Gary wearing slacks? No, honey, he's not. He's
really,
naked.
Really, honey, I'm just writing songs. That's really what I'm doing.
Yeah, but I really did that, and so the stockpile of riffs are many, and the beauty of it was we would just go listen to stuff and pick up the stuff we liked, and then Kiko would say, "Oh, I got something that kind of would work with that," and once we got in the studio and started assembling all the parts, it was kind of like metal Lego. We realized there were a couple parts that needed to be written on the spot, and some of those were parts that Kiko and I would come up with. Our producer, who co-produced the record with me, is a gentleman named Chris Rickstar, was here earlier. And Chris makes suggestions too. He's very knowledgeable about my guitar style and how to coax a better performance out of me. And now that James is back, unfortunately, he returned after the songwriting and the recording was done. But you know, he's already got a track record with us that's proven of great playing. So believe it or not, we're already talking today even about, you know, what's next. You know, not what's the next record, but, you know, what's next? Let's really go for it this time. Let's not just sit back and wait.
I want to talk a little bit about this lineup right now, but bringing in Kiko into the conversation. Kiko, Dystopia was your first record you recorded with the band,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So now, album number 2, with this new record, I would imagine you, having had a bunch of touring under your belt and already one studio experience with Dave, a lot more comfortable and a lot more maybe involved in the writing. You have a bunch of co-writes on here as well, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Of course, like touring, we did, I don't know, maybe over 200 concerts, you know, and getting to know you guys, different countries, different, you know, cultures, different places. Yeah, you learn a lot about the band, about Dave, Dirk, James, and then you feel confident to present ideas, right, that fits to the band. So that's why so many collaborations.
Yeah, the guitar interplay in Megadeth, no matter who the other guitar players was with Dave, has always been so important to the sound and to the band. And Dave, obviously, Kiko wouldn't have the gig if you didn't feel he was the right guy. But how has the playing between the two of you evolved in the years that he's been in the band to the point where it's culminated on this record?
I think a lot of that had to do with my being willing to open up my songwriting process to allow another player to you know, get inside that circle. You know, there's my songwriting process, and then there's his, and then what we do together. And sometimes I don't want anybody coming into my songwriting process and changing a riff. I came in on the record that Johnny K did. It was before Dystopia. I think it was Super Collider, and I came in one morning and Johnny K was in there. A song named Kingmaker. Kingmaker was done, and I came in there and I heard Ellefson and Johnny K in there recording a part on the beginning of the song, and it was nothing to do with the song. It had nothing. The riff wasn't in the record anywhere. And I came in and I said, "What are you two doing?" You know, trying to explain, I'm going to fucking poach your song and I'm going to put one of my riffs in the front of the song. And it was so pathetic. I just felt so sorry for the two of them. I just said, you know, go ahead, leave it in there. But if you listen to Kingmaker tonight when you go home, you're going to hear the beginning of the song. There's a really dumbass part there, and that's it.